everyone. Before we kick off, I'm going to bring on to the stage Uncle Robert Taylor, who is a Ghana elder. Uncle Taylor.
Thank you, Daisy. Nyanki nyamiana, namani. Mani nabuni, nyalaku yata, tanda ganyanga, karawura pari Ghana yata. Nyari Robert Kari Karamutela. Naranjari, Nangaraku, Naranga, Kumagana Mirna. Mani nyalu tampadi Ghana Mirna. Kumandalu Yatanga, Imprendi. Tabandalo Bukiana, Burkana, Kumagana Miniala. Na Yakanadalia, na Yunganadalia, na Chalya. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And did you understand all that? A little bit? Did you hear Robert Taylor, maybe? Yeah? So the language I spoke is the language of my ancestors being the traditional owners and custodians of this land we're gathered on today, this wonderful city we now call Adelaide. It's a funny word, that one, isn't it? Adelaide. Of course, it's only been called Adelaide for about 40 seconds, I think, in the course of history. But for thousands of years to Ghana people and surrounding tribes, been known as Tarnda Ganya. Can you say that one? Tarnda Ganya, very good. So Tarnda is the big red kangaroo. This land that we're gathered on today is the dreaming place of the big red kangaroo. It's quite a significant dreaming story. It runs from here, right through the middle of Australia, right up to the Northern Territory. I'm sure if we ask them fellas up there, they'll tell us that it starts up there and it runs down here though, yeah? So this place is Ghana country, pronounced with a G but spelt with a K. My ancestors have been walking this land for thousands of years and been welcoming people to country. And in the spirit of my ancestors and acknowledging each and every one of you here today, I said Mani Nabudni, which means welcome. And I said Mani Nabudni Nyalaku Yata, Tarnda Ganyanga Ghana Yata. So on behalf of my Ghana elders and ancestors, past and present, it's a pleasure to be here today and welcome you here onto Ghana country. By inviting me along, we together are acknowledging that this is the land of the Ghana people, and for that, I appreciate each and every one of you, and we are grateful. I'm going to tell a bit of a story, and I'm going to do it through using one of the oldest woodwind instruments in the world, the humble didgeridoo. Like Adelaide, it's been called a didgeridoo once again for 40 seconds, I think, in the course of history, but for thousands of years been known as yidaki. Can you say that one? Yidaki, very good. It's a man's only instrument. The reason for this is when I was a young fellow going to school, there's a rumour going around that if a woman played the yidaki, she'd get pregnant. It's actually quite the opposite to that. When we play this instrument, we use a lot of pressure from the lower abdomen. And women having the reproductive system, our ancestors found out through trial and error that it's culturally inappropriate for women to play this instrument. The sounds that we do through the didgeridoo, through the yidaki, is up to our own imagination. I went to a school about 13 years ago, and a young girl, I think she was in year 4 or 5, she put her hands up, and she said to me, "Can you do Justin Bieber?" I was doing a bit of beatboxing through it too, and I was in a good little mood, and I tried it, and guess what? I'll never do it again. So I learnt my lesson from that young lady many, many years ago. So the sounds I like to do is I like to keep the sounds traditional. I'm going to teach you a bit of our language. Here in our country, we don't just have one Aboriginal language, we have over 250 still surviving Aboriginal languages. There used to be around 800 throughout the country, but as we know, many of them languages have now been lost. So the language that we're speaking today, gathered here on Ghana country, I come from 4 different Aboriginal groups: the Ngarrindjeri from the lower parts of the River Murray and the Coorong, the Nangaraku from further upstream along the River Murray, around where Manum, right up through to Berry, the Naranga from the York Peninsula, Point Pearce, and of course the Ghana people here from Tarnda Ganyanga, the dreaming place of the big red kangaroo. So the sounds I'm going to share with you, I think would be appropriate to start off with Tarnda, yeah? That big red kangaroo. I need your help with this. I need you to use your imagination. So if we can imagine a nice big red kangaroo hopping along, it might sound something like this. Did you hear him? All right, where there's a mummy kangaroo and a daddy kangaroo, quite often you'll find a baby Joey. Hopping along extra fast, annoying mum and dad, I'm sure, yeah? Another animal that we have here is that big flightless bird. The emu, very good. In Ghana language, we call that one kari. Can you say that one? Curry. Who said curry up the back? Although on a morning like this, some curry can be very, very nice, yeah? So that male curry, that male emu makes a grunting sound. Another animal that we have here that likes to eat the kangaroos and the emus is that wild dog, the dingo, yeah? We call him Gudley. Can you say that one? Gudley. I hope you fellas are paying attention, because on your way out you're going to have to sign a little piece of paper to see how much Ghana you learned today, yeah? So that wild dog, the Gudley, he howls like a wolf. Soon all the kangaroos and emus will take off running, yeah? Having a good old laugh, that little bird that lives up in the gum tree. The kookaburra. I'll give you the answer in the question, don't I? Do you know how many people say koala? I think to myself, have you ever heard a koala laugh? That little kookaburra, we call him nungana. Can you say that one? It never ceased to amaze me how such a little bird can have such big lungs. Maybe I should sit down with the kookaburras and learn some breathing techniques, yeah, for the yiraki when I'm playing the yiraki. I go camping quite a bit up in the Riverland, and we're lucky enough to have a little bit of land up there, and I take my daughters up there quite often, and every morning there's a little kookaburra that wakes us up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I said to my daughters, I said, the next time we come up here, remind Dad to bring his boomerang with him, yeah? In Ghana language, we call the boomerang wadna. Can you say that one? So the next time I go up there in the springtime coming up, and I hear that little kookaburra wake me up, I'm going to sneak out of my swag and I'm going to chuck my boomerang at him. Got him. We having kookaburra for breakfast, yeah? All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name's Robert Taylor. I'm a proud Ghana man from here. I've been out here in the community for many years, and my passion is to really just keep on sharing our culture, to inspire the youth to do the same and to follow in our footsteps. It's really important as people who not only live on country, but also who are the custodians of country, to still look after it, take care of our waterways and take care of our country, no matter where we are in the world. And I guess by doing so, we're teaching and showing the younger generations as well to do the same, and we're also teaching them to respect each other. For those of you that are from here in Adelaide, we live on this land, but you know, we all call this place home, and it's very important to remember that. For those of you that have travelled far and wide, we welcome you here onto Ghana land, and we hope that while you're here, you feel the blessings of our ancestors. At the end of the day, it's 2023. Australia is one of the most multicultural countries in the world. It's important not to dwell on the past, but it's important also not to forget the past. As one last blessings, I'd like to say, Bukiana mena yancha yara ko nyarloko yarananku, yancha yara tirapanga nyarloko mena tirapanga kuma. So in language, I called upon my ancestors to call upon the spirit of your ancestors, of who the shoulders that you walk upon today, no matter which country you come from, which language you speak, your religious background, or your skin colour. We are all one blood. And I asked our ancestors to come together in the spirit world as we are in the physical world, and bless this land and bless each and every one of you here today. We don't have a term for goodbye in our culture because goodbyes are so final. They're like, we're never going to see you again. So we say nakura down here on Ghana country. Can you say that one, nakura? And that means we'll see you again when our paths meet. Nachalia, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Uncle Robert. It's such a privilege to be welcomed to this beautiful land and to be able to gather here together. Welcome to the very first post-lockdown PyCon AU. We're so glad you're here. My name is Daisy. I am your conference director. I am leading a whole bunch of very lovely people who have been putting this conference together for you for months and months, and we're so excited to be finally here. I think we started planning this almost 6 years ago. Some things happened in the middle. It's so wonderful to actually be here in the same space as a whole bunch of old friends, as well as friends we haven't met yet, and even more friends joining us online. For those of us here in Tanyanga, It is so great to actually see your faces. Well, half of your faces. Thank you all for putting on a mask. There is a few reasons we are asking you to do this. The first one is we've all come from all over the continent to be together, so it's a bit riskier than a trip to the shops. And the second one is that some of us are at higher risk of COVID than others, and we all benefit from a kinder, more inclusive conference. Those people are your fellow attendees. They are the speakers that you're learning things from this weekend, and the volunteers working hard to keep the conference running. There are a few exceptions, like you'll notice I'm not wearing one because I'm speaking on stage. You also kind of have to take a mask off to eat. It's a bit of a tricky situation otherwise. There is more information in the URL on the screen. We also have a code of conduct, and we mean it. We all deserve to feel safe, comfortable, and welcome. If at any time in the conference you feel unsafe or you want to report questionable behavior, please contact a member of the safety team. The safety team will have red badges that say safety team on them. Other members of the teams that run PyCon AU will have green or blue, allegedly, badges. There's also a phone number and email address and more information on the code of conduct page. If you're not sure if something is worth raising with the team, talk it through with the safety team anyway, and they can help you figure it out. We have a couple of things we try not to do here. We don't trash talk other communities, whether that's programming languages or other groups. We're not the sort of community that acts like we're better than other languages. Many of us use other languages as well as Python. Many of us come from other programming language backgrounds or other language backgrounds. I have some personal opinions about MyPy and TypeScript that may surprise you from the director of a Python conference. We don't assume that people aren't technical just because they don't look, sound, or act like the programmer archetype. Basically, everybody here has some sort of technical role or technical experience. That is why we're here. We also don't make jokes at the expense of others. Punching down just isn't funny. And if you do see stuff like this, most people in this room, hopefully all people in this room, are kind people that want to be part of a kind community. So it can be worth gently but firmly calling them in. And a good way to do that is right here on the slide. We don't do that here. There are a few things that we do. This conference has been running for, 14, 15 years, a while. And we've got some in-jokes. And we like our in-jokes, but we don't want to make people feel left out. So we do what all good developers do, and we documented them. If you're new or it's been a while, there's some of our sort of little quirks and in-jokes and things like that are on the URL on the screen. Go check them out. Bathrooms at this venue are all marked gender neutral. There are signs on the outside of the venue, on the outside of the bedroom, and the outside of the bathroom. I glance at my speaker notes and fill the rest in, which will look like what you see here, and will tell you what's inside. There are also sanitary bins in all toilets. Some of them are labeled a bit weirdly, but they are for sanitary items. If you think somebody is in the wrong bathroom, please just respect their privacy and their identity and carry on with your day. They can carry on with their day. They know where they need to be, probably better than you do. We have some supplies in the baskets in all of the bathrooms. There are tampons, pads, deodorant, other things that I'm forgetting because I don't have this on my notes. Take what you need. Please leave some for others. Don't just hoard them. If the stocks are empty or they're missing a particular item, please let an organizer know, which is those people with those brightly colored badges, and we will sort it out. We have Wi-Fi. The details are on the slide. You can also scan this QR code. Maybe I haven't tried it. Someone else on my team put it there. You will also see this on the walls around the conference. My slide notes say that I should take a drink of water now so that you can all scan that QR code. We have the entirety of the east wing of the Adelaide Convention Centre. We've got a lot of space. We've got basically all of the halls here except for Hall D, which is forbidden. We're currently in Hall C. There are a bunch of other things that are on the map. Hall C and E are on the ground floor. Hall E is just behind this tiered seating here. It is in the area you would have registered when you came in. The foyer outside Hall E, which is where that registration desk is, also has a space that you can get food. There is more food underneath, like a level down at the home ground dining area. Upstairs, we have halls A and B and the quiet room, as well as the conference and AV office if you need to go there for any reason. There's also the hallway track. So the hallway track is what we call the conversations that happen outside of the formal scheduled talks. They don't have to be in the hallway, although they often are. That's why we call it that. There are so many people in this conference that you'll see in the hallways. Nearly everybody, including our speakers, including our organizers when we're not running around, which is most of the time, but not all, are more than happy to have a chat. The hallway track can also happen on Discord. By now, you should have received an attendee email with a special link that will grant you access to the Discord server. This is for everybody that's attending the event, both in person and online, so that we can all socialize together. We also have Friendly. On Friendly, you can create an account and share your personal and professional interests, and use it to find other attendees with similar interests, and organize a meetup in person, which is great for BOFs or lunch meetups. BOFs, by the way, are birds of a feather sessions. They are small, self-organized sessions that you as the attendees will set up and hold. The topics can be as varied as functional programming, being queer, crochet, running. I believe there's a running one tomorrow morning. They tend to happen in meal breaks or before or after the conference. They can be in the corridor or around the place. You can advertise your birds of a feather sessions on, there should be a whiteboard by registration. There will also be a channel in the Discord soon when I make it, because I wrote this slide before I did that and then I forgot. And when we are chatting and having open conversations, we try and follow the Pac-Man rule. And the Pac-Man rule is that when you're in a group of people having a conversation, you tend to form a circle. And we want to make sure that we leave a space. And that is so that you can let anybody join the conversation. And when they do that, leave another space. We want to always be welcoming. The other thing that we want to encourage is the snowball rule, which is that every day, try and meet as many new people as the number of PyCons AU that you've been to before. So if you've been to 3 PyCons AU, try and meet 3 new people each day. We also have communication stickers. I don't have examples because I forgot to add them to the slide, but they are little stickers that you can stick on your badge. They'll be on one of the sticker tables in Hall E. There's one that says, say hi, I'm happy to chat to anyone. There's one that says, I'm willing to chat to people if I initiate the conversation or we already know each other. And there's one that says, don't chat to me right now. I just want to enjoy the conference quietly on my own. Please use them liberally. You don't have to use them, but we do expect you to respect the wishes of the other people that are using them. And yeah, they are there to make the conference a little bit easier and more accessible and better for everybody. We have t-shirts. If you selected a size when you ordered your ticket and you have a t-shirt size on your order confirmation email, you can collect your t-shirt from lunchtime today. Unfortunately, if you didn't select a size when you were prompted as part of the t-shirt process, that probably means that you don't have a t-shirt as part of your ticket. If you weren't offered a size, it probably means you ordered after the 20th of July when the t-shirt cutoff was. This means you won't be able to pick up a t-shirt today, but you will have some opportunities to get a t-shirt tomorrow one way or another. There will be more on that in tomorrow's briefing. Welcome. The briefing was what I did with the volunteers an hour ago. We can't run this event year on year with affordable tickets and our financial assistance program without the help of our generous sponsors. I want to give a huge thank you to WSP, who have helped us out so many years running PyCon AU. Let's have a round of applause for WSP. I also want to keep that going for Grok Academy. And lastly, Kraken Technologies, who I think this is the first time Kraken has sponsored PyCon AU, but they have really, really helped us out this year. Kraken also, by the way, are the reason that you'll get free coffee and tea in Foyer E. I also want to thank our gold sponsor, Google Cloud, and our supporting partners, the Python Software Foundation and the Django Software Foundation. We are supporting OzHarvest this year. They help reduce food waste by taking food that is not needed and distributing it to people that do need it. There's no obligation, but it is a good cause. If you want to find out more, there is a booth in Foyer E that you can have a look at some stuff, or you can use that QR code to sign up to volunteer with them. They've also got some tape that you can take home to help keep food fresh longer, and some postcards and things. Go check their little stall out. And of course, we can't run this event without the financial and legal support of Linux Australia. When you run an event like this, you sign a very big, very scary contract for lots of money many years in advance, and then you have to try and make it so that you don't have a big financial hole. Linux Australia is the reason that we can put on an event like this in a place like this, because they make that happen. Back to sponsors for a second. I have Bruce Fuda, who is the Chief Education Officer at Grok Learning, who is going to talk to us a bit about that. You got it? You'll leave that.
Thanks very much, Daisy. So, I'm here today to basically express why here at Grok we value everything that happens here at PyCon AU and in the broader developer community. At Grok, we have a mission, and that mission is to educate all learners, and that includes everyone at school, everyone in tertiary education, anyone really in any role who wants to further and better themselves in the transformative computing skills, knowledge, and dispositions that they're going to need to really shape the future. It's a really scary, audacious goal, but it's something that we're all very, very passionate about. And when people ask, why do you look at events like this and choose to sponsor them? Well, there are a few reasons that PyCon is very, very special to us. First of all, a large part of what we actually use on the platform is built with Python. We use it to build our technology, and it's our language of choice to teach the fundamentals of programming to students, and that happens largely with a lot of our school-based courses. We support other languages in the platform as well for our tertiary customers, but most of what we do for schools really starts with Python. Events like this are an opportunity for people to get together and share what they know, to build their knowledge, build their capability, and become better at the things that they want to learn more about. Learning is our mission, and events like this are all about learning. And finally, as you've probably starting to get a feel for already at the conference, and if you've been to PyCon before, you know this community is really supportive of new programmers and of young programmers. We're really, really excited to also be the main sponsor of the Education Specialist track. And this conference does something that I don't think any other developer conference does, and puts on a student showcase in the afternoon during that track to really give students in schools the opportunity to share what they're doing with a bigger community. And that's really an entry point for becoming a part of this really vibrant and friendly and welcoming community. So for those of you who don't know what we do, I've sort of made reference to the fact that we build resources for students and teachers to support the work they're doing in classrooms. They're both online and offline. They provide a lot of automated marking, and we have dedicated customer support staff to support those teachers in the delivery of that education to students. But the thing that I think is really great for us, and it's new, is we've got a lot of now philanthropic support and a partnership with WiseTech Global, which has allowed us to make all of the resources that we've built for schools free for all students and all teachers, and to anyone else who's looking to support the work that's happening in schools. So if you're interested in reaching out to your schools to support the work that's going on there, to volunteer and to improve the education that's happening for our school-aged kids, you can create an account and access all of our materials so that you can provide that support to teachers and students in your schools. So if you're keen to get involved in outreach, have those conversations, talk to the schools, let them know that that is a resource that's out there and that you can leverage. And if you've got any questions, you can reach out to us to find out how you can do more. I unfortunately can't stay for the conference. I have a very young child who needs his daddy this weekend. So I'm going to be heading off, but we have a few Grok staff who are going to be here for the next few days. If you see any of them or want to learn more, have a chat. I'm sure they'll be willing to share the opportunities that are available at Grok and the things that we're doing. And I wish everyone who's here for the next couple of days and the sprints afterwards an exciting and enjoyable and a real learning conference. So thanks very much.
Thanks, Bruce. Before I get going with what's on my notes, I do want to share something that happened yesterday, which is when the specialist track day happened including the education track, which Grok helps run by sponsoring that as well. There was a message that came through the organizers of this call. We're all running around like headless chooks. We're all very stressed. And one of my team messages, hey, like, if you've got a spare second and you want to remember why we're doing this, go check out what's happening in the education track now, because the student showcase is amazing. The kids are all right. So the education track is really special to us, and Grok makes that happen as well. So, yeah. We have lightning talks. These are at the end of the day in the schedule. They are probably one of the highlights of PyCon AU. They are talks that are 5 minutes long, exactly 5 minutes, not a second more. The way it works is there will be a box at the Rego desk. You submit your talk before 2 p.m. Before the end of morning tea, and you will find out by 2 p.m. And you will find out by 2 p.m. Ignore what it says on the slides. Submit your talk before the end of morning tea in the box. It will be selected. We'll select them, and we will let you know by 2 p.m. if you're presenting it. And then chaos will happen, because that's how it always works. We've had talks about the history and politics of Australian and New Zealand supermarket chains. We've had talks about literal bugs, which were somewhat frightening. We've had talks about obscure Ruby operators. It doesn't have to be about Python. We also have a new format that we're trialing, a small preview of this year called PyCon Fair. We give you a table and you show off whatever you've got to show off. There are a few exhibitors that submitted through our call to proposals who will be out there, but we do have some spare space. So if you would like to be a part of that as well, there will be a submission box on the desk. That is the thing that you have until 2 p.m. today for. Submit before 2 p.m. today. We will let you know at some point tomorrow, and you will have a space tomorrow in PyCon Fair to present your thing. This is a really great format for things that maybe don't suit a talk format, but are things that you still want to be able to present and share with friends at a PyCon. A couple of more administrative notes before we introduce our keynote speaker. If you're speaking today or tomorrow, please check in at the hall that you're speaking at 10 minutes before the end of the meal break that's before your talk. So if you're talking between morning tea and lunch, 10 minutes before the end of morning tea, please find your hall. And we do need you to stay there until your talk starts. That is because if you're coming from another talk, maybe it runs late, that throws all of the AV stuff out of whack, and it makes it much harder for us to run things on time. Speaking of on time, I'm running late. If you want to be a session chair, these people are the people that introduce and thank speakers, give the speaker time checks towards the end of the talk, and facilitate audience questions. This is a really great way to get experience talking to a room of people if you're thinking about presenting a talk at a future PyCon AU. Then, if that interests you, stick around after the keynote, and Jack, who is down here with the lovely bright hair and the curly boy thing, we'll give you a bit of a briefing on how to do it, and we will accept sign-ups for that on the announcements channel on the Discord, which should happen. I don't know what you just said. We need your help. Yeah, we do really need your help. Look at announcements. There will be a sign-up thread, and talk to Jack after the keynote. Was that important? Yeah, that's what I just said. And there's only one more thing left for me to do, and that is to introduce Sam Floriani. Sam is